Have you ever had one of those moments where something dawns on you that you thought you already knew? Well, that's what happened with me with what I'm about to show you today. Just a couple of tweaks on something that I already knew and I was in business. And you can be too. My first guitar hero was Pete Townsend, but very soon afterwards it became Jimmy Page. Something about his play, it was just so aggressive and fast and free. But there's also a touch of darkness in Zeppelin songs, even from the first albums. Why is that, do you think? And more importantly, how can we add that into our play? Now, what's cool about what I'm going to show you is that I already knew all the elements, I just hadn't put it together. And maybe you're in the same boat, so let's find out. First, let's ask the question, didn't Jimmy use the same scales as everyone else? Yeah, pretty much. So it must not be that. But wait, here's what eventually dawned on me and the licks that got me there. Check it out. You'll probably recognize this Eric Clapton Cream lick from Crossroads. It's a turnaround lick. That uses the blues scale, shown in A here. And here's the blue note, the flat 5 of A. Now check out this lick from Rush, done here in the key of A, technically using the same blues scale. Doesn't that sound a bit more shocking than the Clapton lick? I think it does, and the reason is obvious, although I didn't see it for a long time. It's because it's the tritone, the devil's interval. It definitely creates some evil-sounding tension. Tritone just means 3 whole steps. That's 6 frets on a guitar, as you can see here. Did Jimmy Page use this? You bet, and we can hear it in this Jimmy Page style lick. It ends on a tritone, and it illustrates something else about tritones too. You can move them up or down minor thirds. That's 3 frets on a guitar. Check it out. That's a really creepy sound. It eventually repeats itself too. Just really creepy. So we've got the basics on scales and solos, but what about chords? I mean, who doesn't want to play a mean sounding chord progression too? Let's start with this Paul Kossoff inspired chord. It's an E, but it's a special one. We've taken out the note on the G string, so now all we're left with are E's and B's. Very cool because it's an ambiguous chord. Only the root E and the 5th B are still in the chord. It doesn't have the 3rd, so you can't tell whether it's a major or a minor, but it's a big chord. Lots of good energy there. Now here's another chord using that same idea. Also an E. There's only E's and B's in this chord, and the inner strings are movable, unlike the last chord, so it's useful up and down the neck. You've probably heard that chord voicing used in AC/DC songs like this. So it's a great sound, a great voicing, but let's get back to that demon sound. Let's take our second E voicing and again focus on the inner strings. In particular, let's have a look at the G and the B strings. We've got an E and a B, the root and the 5th. But what happens when we go to the flat 5? Yeah, we have the root and the flat 5. That's our tritone again. Using it in a chord creates a dissonance that's really demonic sounding. Check it out. See what I mean? And it's quite Zeppelin sounding too. All right, now let's have a little fun. I'm going to play that riff and I'm going to mix in some tritone fills. Of course, you can use the E minor pentatonic and E blues scales and put those in as well, but I'm going to emphasize the tritones in what I'm going to do here. I should mention that it's usually good to resolve to a very strong note, typically the root, because you don't want to leave people in suspense too much of the time. Hey, if you enjoy hearing about and learning about players from the 60s and 70s and 80s, check out this playlist because I've got tons of things on players from that era, and I know you're going to like it. So click on that link, check it out, and we'll see you on down the road.